Amazon, and you know you're never going to click one of their links. Well, you can just block it from ever showing up. Isn't that awesome? I know there are ways you can do this in the search bar of other search engines, but this is just baked in, and since it's account-based, it's not tied to cookies. I really love that feature. I'm a big fan of what they do, even if I don't use it myself. I personally use StartPage, as they are far easier to recommend to people, and since I actually pay for StartMail, it's like I'm paying for it to be free for everyone. But I really think Kagi deserves a shout-out for really trying to do things differently. Privacy.com is one of the companies that offers credit card aliases. As we talked about earlier, there is something to keep in mind here. When you look through their privacy policy, it's rather clear that they still do collect a lot of data, and a lot of it is sensitive information, such as your name, date of birth, social security number, payment information, transaction history, network activity, and inferences. If you want to learn more about these categories, I made a video that goes over all of them here, and in addition, I have uploaded a full reading of their privacy policy on the second channel, both of which are linked below. So, if Privacy.com experiences a data breach, guess what data is once again at risk? That's right, it's all of that sensitive personal information. I will note that they're using the same security measures that a normal bank would, and they do collect similar data. But banks have been in data breaches just like any other company. Yes, you're better protected from all the other various services you'd be using these cards on, which is a big improvement, but they are still at risk. Also, consider this. You have your actual bank transactions, and then you'd have your transactions here, so now that's spread across two different services. They do offer a perfectly valid service, which is why I believe it's important to look at the full picture. This is more of a tool to help protect you from other services, rather than actual full financial privacy. Though, full financial privacy is sort of a myth at this point. And to wrap things up, here are some actual nonprofits that offer real privacy for free. I've linked all of their donation pages in the description below. LibreOffice is an open-sourced alternative to things like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and Proton Docs. Look, local documents are more private than online ones. I know collaborating is nice and all, but it comes at some weird costs. Google scans all of your documents for AI training, and Proton Docs costs way too much for half-baked features that feel more buggy than functional. You know what works great? A local document that requires no internet access. Fully open source and a real nonprofit that does great work. I am a big fan of LibreOffice. Signal is an end-to-end encrypted messaging app that I've been using for years now. They're also a real nonprofit, and the encryption tech is open source. They pay their employees very well, and I am thrilled with the work that they've done. Also, I think their announcement to become a nonprofit shines a fantastic light on how strange Proton's announcement was. Proton seems harsh against various companies, whereas Signal's is super positive. I have both linked in the description. In their announcement, Signal publicly showcases their biggest initial donor, Brian Acton. He is best known for having co-founded WhatsApp, and was one of the driving forces to add encryption to the service. He and the co-founder, Jan Koum, sold WhatsApp to Facebook in 2014, and he's talked about many times how that action haunts him. Quote, "I sold my users' privacy to a larger benefit. I made a choice and a compromise. I live with that every day." End quote. He left Facebook because Mark Zuckerberg wanted to start monetizing WhatsApp, something that would directly hurt the privacy of their users. Since his departure, he has put his money where his mouth is. He has invested millions upon millions of dollars into platforms like Signal, as well as openly advocating for people to delete their Facebook accounts. That's the kind of work I want to reward. I love it when people acknowledge their mistakes and act in ways to help prevent others from doing the same. It shows an incredible amount of humility, and I applaud it. Everyone makes mistakes, and I think it's important that we highlight when people learn from their failures. Signal has clearly fostered a good group of people, and I hope to continue to watch them succeed. Firefox is a web browser, similar to things like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Safari. Now look, some of the internet likes to get spun up into a tizzy because of things like changes to privacy policies, but it's super clear to me that these internet people didn't actually read the changes. Firefox is actually open source, and is actually free, and is actually a nonprofit. Firefox Focus is actually fantastic on mobile, and you should 100% be using it. There are also amazing spin-offs like LibreWolf, which is just Firefox but with all the privacy settings turned on by default. That sort of thing doesn't happen with closed-source projects. Again, similar to Signal's, I've linked Mozilla's announcement to become a nonprofit. Also, in some good news with Mozilla that flew under the radar, they stopped working with the data deletion service OneRep because it turns out their CEO was also making people search services. In fact, Mozilla has stopped offering their own data deletion service, Mozilla Monitor, as a result of this. So they're actually putting their principles in front of profit. If you want to learn more about data deletion services, I made a video about that here. Now, are there issues at Mozilla? Absolutely. The default version of Firefox is basically unusable if you ask me, as it's riddled with news and ads and it's super annoying. They also really need to figure out a better way to get funding from people and not from Google, because that could implode at any moment. But hey, at least we can actually see that information because they're a real nonprofit. They've been trying to fight the good fight for the open web longer than many of my viewers have been alive, and I think they absolutely deserve credit for their work. Also, just as a quick special shout out, Blender is the open source software that I use to make these videos. Okay, sure, it's not exactly about privacy, I just think they're amazing and I think they deserve all the love they can get. I believe that all the companies I've mentioned are trying to do the right thing, and I want to give them the ability to continue to prove it. Nobody's perfect, and that's okay. I want to use this as an opportunity to help build us up, rather than tear someone down. If you have suggestions for other projects that you think deserve love, share it in the comments below. If you liked this video, consider subscribing and liking the video. If you like that I don't take sponsors and I'm donation subsidized, consider joining the Patreon. For just $1 a month, you'll get early access to videos and support a small team of people that help make these videos possible. We have a supporters-only Discord where I am constantly demanded to recreate memes like this. It's a good time, so you can join that by going to patreon.com/rejectconvenience. As always, please be kind and patient with each other and yourselves. Peace.
The Mobius strip is definitely one of the more stranger objects out there. It has a one-sided surface with a 180-degree twist. This allows you to cover the entire surface area without crossing an edge. Mechanically, this gives you an advantage to use an entire area of a belt or even double the amount of teeth on a gear, thus reducing overall wear. A more novel, even stranger design allows you to use an odd number of gears. This would typically not be possible in a closed loop because the first and last gear would have the same rotation, and this would effectively stall the whole gear train. But the Mobius strip defies normal intuition, and this twist reverses the direction of the final gear, allowing an odd number of gears to work in a continuous flowing loop without jamming. The Mobius strip is definitely one of the more stranger objects.
I have a question for you. How old are you? Oh, I see. You don't want to answer because you're an anonymous internet user and that's your private life. Well, guess what? It's not going to be private much longer. By January 1st, 2027, your operating system will need to know how old you are to connect to apps and websites on the internet. While you were focused on the Epstein files and all the arrests the government was making, your technocratic leaders around the world were all simultaneously busy with a new hobby: age verification laws.
How's your new computer doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, I like it.
Age verification is nothing new. Every time you want to support indie filmmakers or play games like GTA 6, you need to rely on an age verification form like this. But that will soon become a thing of the past because age verification is moving down to the operating system level. That means anytime you get a new computer or phone, Windows, Mac OS, Android, and Linux will be legally required to collect your age. And not just that, but they also must provide an API where developers can query your age as the primary source of truth for access control on apps and websites. It's yet another big win for big tech, but luckily a hero has emerged, a single new Linux conversion script that says this aggression will not stand.
This will not stand. This will not stand, this aggression.
In today's video, you'll learn about ageless Linux and the battle against OS-level age verification. It is March 20th, 2026, and you're watching the Code Report. Back in October 2025, the Digital Age Assurance Act was passed into law in California, and it makes it a legal requirement to collect a user's age on any general-purpose operating system, and that puts the primary responsibility on Apple, Microsoft, and yes, Linux. Now, of course, this happened in California with every single lawmaker filmmaker voting for it. And of course, the reason to take away your privacy is to, quote, protect the children. As a parent, I'm all about protecting children, but parental control is already a solved problem. It's trivial for parents to monitor and control the content their kids consume, and OS level age verification won't change anything, so what is it really all about? Well, the end game here is to turn every device you own into something that only works when you log in and prove who you are. Your cell phone, your Wi-Fi router, and your smart toilet won't work unless, of course, you've age verified with your Apple, Facebook, or Google account. Once everything is connected and authenticated, it creates a system where every action, from browsing the internet to grabbing a beer from your smart fridge, can be tracked by default. In other words, it's just a Trojan horse for mass surveillance. On top of that, it creates a compliance moat for these big tech companies that hurts small developers and only benefits the massive corporations. Meta spent millions of dollars lobbying in California to pass this law, with OpenAI as a co-sponsor. Apple and Microsoft are just chilling on the sidelines as indirect beneficiaries, but the Linux community has mostly been silent and confused, except for this one chaos agent called Ageless Linux. It's a new distro, or actually no, it's just a script that is vowed to violate all age verification laws, even though violating the law is against the law. To get started breaking the law yourself, all you have to do is run the script on any Debian-based distro, like Ubuntu or Kali Linux. This script will modify the OS release metadata about your system. Then it will install some documentation telling the state of California that we will not comply with AB 1043. It'll then deploy an age verification API that doesn't work. Congratulations, you just became an operating system provider. Legally, you are a person who controls the operating system software. If a child uses this operating system, you are required by section 1798.501, subsection A, clause 1, to provide an accessible interface at account setup that collects their age. Unfortunately, Add User in Linux does not do this, so you could be fined $7,500 for any child in California who uses your operating system. When I was a kid growing up in California, the internet was a utopia of anonymity, but sadly, my kids won't even be able to use the internet without being first approved by big tech bouncers. On the bright side though, at least my kids will be able to write way better code than I ever could in the future, thanks to This has been the Code Report.
A few years ago, I invented a new sickness that now continually afflicts me, and it is this video you are currently watching. The yearly...
This card. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess that's how it went. Okay, let's see. 1 day, 2 hours. Instead of doing nothing.
The gaming backlog video. The first year I foolishly affirmed that I would finish my this many hour backlog in 1 year's time. A full year later I explored my miserable failure and the free existential crisis that came with attempting this many games in such a short period of time. And last year I secretly tried again and found some level of success and perhaps a wonderful new method to actually get one's backlog done in a healthy, data-driven way. All of those videos are still out there and you can go watch them, but you don't need to in order to enjoy this one because this year I did something particularly stupid. I allowed you to decide what my backlog for 2025 would be, and I used that new potentially healthier data-driven method to approach it. You see, the biggest flaw in attacking your backlog, like one might attack a Chinese buffet line, is that the second it becomes about clearing out a list more than it is about enjoying the games on that list, suddenly the very appeal of wanting to play everything here sours into a chore. If you're focused on the next 5 games before you've even finished this one, suddenly any inconvenience becomes a critical flaw in the game. A slow-burning side quest becomes extra work. A difficult boss becomes a terrifying crash landing without the parachute of patience. A game that doesn't immediately grab your attention dissolves into you muttering to yourself, I could be playing something else instead. And that's not a good way to approach this. So, after 2 full years of trying to optimize the backlog experience, I came up with this method. Step 1. You don't really change much about your gaming habits. Maybe you make it a priority to play a little more in your schedule, but ultimately, you don't try to play everything in a big hurry. Step 2, you record how many hours you're gaming each month and how many games you complete, /attempt, /don't finish, etc, etc. Step 3, after a few months of doing this, or heck, maybe even a year, calculate the average amount of hours that you're spending playing games each month and the average amount of games you're completing each month. Finally, step 4, instead of looking down a long list of games that you want to play, you can make a schedule. A schedule that looks something like this, which after 2 years of collecting data for these dumbass videos, I did. I found that I was playing about 41 hours per month and finishing about 2.5 games a month. Knowing this, I plotted out a spreadsheet that allowed me to play 2 to 3 games a month with the flexibility to play more or less depending on their how long to beat times. I simply quantify each game on my list with their estimated run times, and from there I can plug and place things from the backlog into the schedule. This way, I'm actually allowing the proper amount of time to truly enjoy what I'm playing, but also I'm not just at random shooting fish in a barrel or wandering aimlessly through the list. It allows me to pick via mood. It allows me to work around new game releases. It allows me to not have an existential meltdown. And I can say all of that with confidence because it is the method that I used this year. I have data for you, I have anecdotes, I have games that left me watching the credits saying, man. And I have my thoughts on the games you all voted for last year because yes, I did allow you all to vote for 11 games that I would have to work into the fold this year. Needless to say, we have a lot to talk about, and I would like to take you on an adventure through all of the madness that was the 2025 backlog. So,
let's go do this. Okay. Starting from 2, I guess.
The brightest. The most dazzling. New Eridu's Rising Star.
Alright.
We're here! Long time no see. Morning, manager.
Morning, everyone. My brother told me you needed to talk to us about something urgent.
Yep. It's about the new Eridu's Rising Star event.
We might need your help, manager. What a coincidence! Wise and I just saw the commercial for that competition. It's the biggest creator event in New Eridu, sponsored by Tops, right?
Do you plan on participating?
Wow, you have that much faith in us, manager? Honestly, we didn't even know we'd be entering until yesterday.
Yeah, we actually didn't meet the entry requirements at first. It was all thanks to a really enthusiastic fan. She recommended us to the judges during a street interview.
That's right! Thanks to Ms. Sia's recommendation, Ms. Burner took a listen and loved Suna's song, so we managed to land a spot in the competition.
That's awesome! So you got in through a special recommendation? You Angels of Delusion really know how to surprise us. So, have you guys figured out how you're gonna prepare for this competition?
Well, about that. To encourage more people to join, the organizers have cut down on the in-person rounds this time. Rankings will be based on the quality and popularity of content posted on the creators' online accounts. But we've been so caught up with the Gilded Carrot Day show that we completely neglected our account. Our page is pretty much a ghost town now.
Oh, it's all my fault. I was doing pretty well before, keeping up with all the updates. But lately I've just been completely swamped.
No. Don't pin everything on yourself, Suna. Ahem. You two stop spilling your guts like idiots. Anyway, the point is, Angels of Delusion is doing alright overall, but we really need someone who knows how to run a creator account. It's a super important role. That's why we created the special title of our prestigious honorary agent for whoever's skilled enough to help us out.
Yeah, that's right.
After thinking about it over and
and over, the most professional, reliable, and trustworthy people we know are... you two!
Please help us out, manager!
Okay. But I don't know much about the idol industry, so no promises I'll be very helpful. Are you kidding? We've talked about this so many times. No matter how impossible something seems, it always gets done once you step in. Like, finding inspiration when I'm stuck, figuring out all those commissions with super ambiguous requests, pulling off shows we have zero confidence in, everything! Wow, am I really that good? I'm suddenly feeling pretty confident.
Exactly! And an inexperienced idol plus a complete rookie manager is a refreshing combo that might just create something magical.
I know! Wishing Sprite says that keeping things fresh is actually a very important part of any performance, too.
Totally agree. So, to win the grand prize at New Eridu's Rising Star, we're planning to drop a performance video for a brand new song. And we've decided that Suna will be the center in the MV.
Oh, what? Isn't that just a joke because I lost at Truth or Dare?
Oh, so Suna's dare is to be the center in the next song?
Nope. She drew Truth. The prompt was, tell us your biggest wish right now.
Yeah, her wish was so honest and brave. I was totally moved.
It's not that big a deal. All I said was, sometimes I wonder when I'll be able to stand in the center like Arya and Nanggong and lead in a performance. That's all. But to actually be the center now, I'm nowhere near ready. At least give me some time to think about it.
Then think about it quick.
Quick? Like how quick?
While you think it over, we'll talk to manager first about our plans once you take the center position.
So you're not even giving me a chance to say no? We're talking about being the group center. Shouldn't you be taking this more seriously?
I think it's a really good idea, too. A performance with Suna in the center would be a whole new vibe. I'm already hyped just thinking about it.
Okay. Thank you, manager. But I'm still a bit nervous.
All right, center for the new song confirmed.
You confirmed that just now?
Yep, just in time. Good thing we nailed this before the Tops rep comes and confirms all our details.
We've only got half a day left! Shouldn't we at least do some preparation before he arrives?
Ugh, dummy! Why else do you think I said we could only grab some noodles for lunch today?
So Nanggong had it all planned out. Let's hurry back and get ready then.
Wait. One more thing. Manager? If you're free this afternoon, could you come with us as our agent to meet the staff? Ms. Cecilia's out, and it's just the three of us. I'm a bit worried. Sure. Wise and I will get ready and come over soon. Don't worry. We've dealt with plenty of top staff before.
We do have quite a few friends who work at Tops, though their departments are all kind of... special.
Looks like 404 is getting lively.
Falling into Delusion Field!
You said you were here to check on Angels of Delusion's eligibility, but you still haven't gone to meet them in person. What's this now? Mr. Miller, always racing against time, pinching Denny's, talking up creating value, and you suddenly become fascinated with staring at the gate of an empty music venue.
Hey, patience, my friend. Your focus is on musical merit, and I'm responsible for commercial viability, which means weighing many factors. Foot traffic, target demographics, neighborhood atmosphere, and the qualities exhibited by key players themselves. Take this young lady, for instance. Unless I'm mistaken, you're Angels of Delusion's manager?
Wow, you've got sharp eyes, sir. Yeah, that's me, Angels of Delusion's manager. Great to meet you both.
Likewise. I'm Miller from Tops. I'm overseeing this year's new Eridu's Rising Star. This is Miss Burner, our expert consultant and a critically acclaimed composer. She's the one who recommended your idol group.
Miss Burner! I know who you are. Thank you so much.
We don't have much time. Let's skip the pleasantries and get straight to the point.
Huh? Oh, okay.
As you already know, Angels of Delusion entered as specially invited contestants. That means you currently only have provisional entry.
That's quite an opener. She's clearly strict. We gotta bring our A-game. Got it. But we still haven't received the specifics on what we need to do to secure official entry. Could you fill us in?
To put it simply, as provisional contestants, you need two things. First, get approval from the judges. That's Miller and myself. Second, build up enough online engagement, what we call star points. About that second part, honestly, as her students, if you're willing to dish some behind-the-scenes stories about your teacher, online engagement won't be an issue. However...
Sorry to interrupt! If this is meant to be a competition for creators, then our work itself should be what proves our worth. Riding on a teacher's reputation for clout, that totally defeats the purpose of this event.
Exactly. And you gave us suggestions on how to get more star points. Nothing about the standards you and Mr. Miller are actually judging by. We'd like to know that too.
With that, you've set the bar of my expectations a little higher. Exactly. What I really want to see is a solid song, a killer performance. Like your Gilded Carrot Day show.
Yeah, we totally understand. Well, actually, we're already working on a new song. It's about Angels of Delusion itself. We want to capture that feeling of floating through a universe of daydreams.
We're making solid progress. We'll keep at it and drop the full track within the competition window.
Not bad. I hope Angels of Delusion can truly deliver something remarkable, just as you say. What's your take, Miller?
You're the expert here, Ms. Burner. If you're on board, I've got no objections. But I do know a thing or two about metrics. How about this? Why not post videos of your practice sessions online? You'll get to engage with viewers, expand your reach, and show your fans how you grow, which fits right in with the spirit of the competition.
Wait, so you mean we have to live stream our rehearsals every day?
Exactly. Do you have any concerns?
No, not at all. We can handle it. Falling into Delusion Field! Keep up with the beat! It's finally over. Did I pass? Falling into Delusion Field! I can't stop! Keep up with the beat! I'm so tired. I need a break.
You expect me even to get higher accuracy? What the fuck? To get the platinum thing.
Smooth melody, harmonious rhythm, nice emotional build-up. For rookies, Angels of Delusion just gave a pretty solid performance. Your stage presence actually exceeded my expectations. That said, beyond polish issues, I have to point out one glaring mistake. Suna, you couldn't keep up with the choreography.
I'm sorry. My bad. I'll do better. We're really sorry, Miss Burner. We only started practicing this piece yesterday, so we're still finding our feet. And Suna's been focusing on writing new songs lately, so she missed a few practices.
Your reasons don't matter. As performers, you've got to give the audience your best. No excuses, no matter what's happening behind the scenes. Once you're live, the audience only sees the final result. No one cares what goes on backstage.
Except when you build your brand on what happens backstage.
Thanks for the feedback, Miss Burner. You're totally right. There's still lots of room for them to grow. But with amazing vocal coaches, professional and rigorous judges, and a burning passion for our dream, we're definitely going to put on an incredible show.
Yeah, the Angels of Delusion will keep working hard, and we hope you'll keep believing in us.
Hey, no reason to stress, everyone. Ms. Burner's just offering her professional input. And as for the lack of polish, that's not hard to fix. Just keep practicing. I'm sure you'll nail it soon. Based on today's performance, I'm leaning toward keeping Angels of Delusion in the running. What do you think, Ms. Burner?
Overall, I'll give you a pass. But that's all. It's getting late, we should head out. Next time we're here, I expect to be genuinely surprised.
Whew! That was intense. When Miss Burner started talking and Suna just froze up, I got so worried. Huh? But look at you! Our little Suna's all grown up now. She won't just burst into tears in public anymore.
Hey! Don't you underestimate me! I was just thinking of solutions!
Oh? What brilliant idea did our genius little Suna come up with?
I was going over all the prep work we need to do for this competition. When you break it down, it's really not that much. 3 live streams, 2 in-person evaluations, managing the social media account, and writing the Angels of Delusion song. Sounds like a lot, I know, but if we tackle each task one at a time, it's totally doable.
Wow, Suna's suddenly so reliable! So, should we start divvying things up?
Yeah, running your account is part of my job as your manager. My AI assistant and I will try our best.
Thanks, manager. I'll finish the Angels of Delusion song on time. As for the live streams and in-person evaluations...
Nanggong and I will figure something out.
Okay, we're all set then. Next, let's brainstorm, and we can regroup later to discuss our ideas.
Sounds good to me. Our free time starts now.
Okay, let's do it later. Tomorrow is a good day. Best day there is. Delusions. It's really annoying that high score collector didn't do the thing that it was supposed to.
Grab yourself a blanket and a pet, or a stuffed pet, or both, and while you're doing that, I want to quickly... As this month begins, I'm not entirely sure what the new backlog is going to look like. I do have a small backlog left over from previous years, but my plan is to prioritize the 11 games you guys vote for, meaning I don't know exactly where to start just yet. You see, I'm giving the video time to circulate and time for everyone to cast their votes. In the meantime, I think I've made the rules pretty clear to everyone. Vote for one game, vote only once, check this list first so you don't vote for something I've already played, and finally, please try and keep the estimated time to beat on these like 30 hours or less. You don't have to follow that rule, but I believe my words were, if enough people vote for like the Kerbal Space Program, I guess I'll indulge you. But yeah, but please go easy on me. Oh, and for the love of God, don't vote for Kingdom Hearts. That is not a rule, that is a plea. But what I love about you all is that you're renegades. You do what you want. So as I streamed the results being counted, I have a couple of folks use a program to stuff the ballot, like the guy who casted like 500 votes for Persona 3, which I already want to play anyway. I have many of you vote for stuff I've already beat. I'm not mad, just disappointed. But once all the cheater votes are filtered out, we have some contenders on our hands. And as we roll into the Ks, we reach a point that to potentially make the top 11, a game would need to exceed like 50-ish votes. So RIP some very good contenders. I still make mental notes. And then we had the professional comedians come out to play. Oh God. Oh Jesus God. Okay, I won 28. Haha, fuck y'all, let's go. I survived Kerbal Space Program. Whew, narrowly dodged it. Oh God, Kingdom Hearts. Oh no, that was only before we had even got to 1. That was 1. Oh God. 210 votes. I hope you're proud of yourselves. After all was said and done, the top 11 games were as follows. With 116 votes, Return of the Obra Dinn. With 138 votes, Metal Gear Solid. With 140, Baldur's Gate 3. Wait, hang on. The fuck? With 200, Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye DLC. Kingdom Hearts. 213 votes for The Last of Us Part 2, 229 for Tunic, 254 for Cyberpunk, 289 votes for Bloodborne, 347 votes for Yakuza 0, and finally, 450 votes for Disco Elysium. What a lineup. I cannot wait to play each and every one of these. Thank you for voting. I will have these done by the time this video goes live. Now, elephant in the room. Daryl, isn't placing a time limit on your backlog bad? Didn't you just say this? Yes, it is bad. Do not try this at home. But you can watch me do it, like you're entertained, right? Plus, 11 games is extremely doable, considering I typically do like 30 or more in a year. Even if you add up the times to beat and then split them evenly over 11 months, it's just over 30 hours a month, which should be completely doable since I average 40. And if things do get tight, my intent is to prioritize just these 11 games. The new method provides flexibility for more games from my radar if there is time, and I think there will be, but if I can just do one fan game a month, I'll keep a perfect pace. And since December is already flying by, what other way is there to start this than by diving right into Tunic? No one told me this game was going to kick my ass. When people recommend Tunic, they can't fully tell you why they're recommending it. And as such, I can't really talk about the coolest thing this game has to offer, but what I can tell you is that I have a deep affection for the...
Quick as a flash!
I hate to use this word, but vibes it invites you to revel in. The soundtrack from Lifeformed and Janice Kwan create a world that, despite obviously paying tribute to Zelda, is truly one of a kind. Tunic has this ethereal, almost toys come to life feel to it, and it is massively fun. I do have my critiques. The combat is not quite as tight as I wanted it to be. The roll timing continually confused me, and I so deeply wish that the X prompt on the ladders and such showed up just a hair quicker because I hated rolling into stuff over and over. But that's it, man. Like that's nitpicking, because otherwise this was magnificent. Tunic is a meaningful fable about knowledge and communication as the eternal remedy to violence, and I am extremely grateful to all of you for not letting me skip this one. Around the time I picked up Tunic, I decided to also begin a different game, a title that was on the original 22 last year, but I was informed it needed to be played in December, and that's VA11 Hall A Cyberpunk Bartender Action. I had a viewer once tell me, hey, you should start Valhalla on December 13th and play it one day at a time just before bed, and that's exactly what I did. The idea is the in-game events take place from December 13th through the new year. You play as Jill, a stressed, unfulfilled, sexually frustrated, and incredibly snarky bartender. You make drinks, you listen to people's problems, you pay rent. Alma is the best character. Sorry, that last one wasn't a feature. It was just a fact, really. And I think the biggest compliment I can play this game is that despite being a visual novel with no dialogue options, it was still extremely interesting. I take that back. I guess how well you make drinks affects how much people open up to you, but my point is simply that the subject matter here and how society is handling this hyper-technological age is fascinating. You have Dorothy, this android sex worker who tells you some of the insane things people are into and how the law handles her rights as someone who isn't, strictly speaking, real. You have Say, an abundantly kind and compassionate cop who opens up to you about the difficulties and trauma of the job when society hates her. You'll run into an idol, belligerent office workers, live streamers, Jill's crush, all of this to music that is the sound equivalent of blackberries and passionate lovemaking under the moonlight. You've almost certainly heard a few tracks from it in my videos this year. Hell of a little game. I forgot that I like visual novels. Maybe I'll play another one soon. Between the late start and the holidays, this is all I have time for this month, but I have one fan game down, which means I'm off to a great start. New month, so first things first, fan game. I think my experience with Yakuza 0 can best be described by this side mission. And forgive me, I don't have much footage from it, but I have the part that counts. Kiryu catches wind of a man who has a secret shop only accessible by a few select individuals. What is he selling? Weapons? Drugs? Clothes? Something else? It makes total sense to follow this rabbit hole and shop from this guy because it could be extremely helpful. So you ask around, follow lead after lead, go on a wild goose chase until you finally find out what the password is. It's this made-up word that has to be spelled correctly, and once you finally get it right...
Transfiguration! Do your master's bidding! Off to the freezer! Pinnacle of excellence! Unleash!
That is the whole side quest. I don't even know what the shop was actually selling, but I think that's what's so remarkable about this game. I didn't care. The quest's prize wasn't an advantage, it was a punchline. Yakuza 0, despite having a genuinely gripping story and superbly well-written characters, is full of silly moments like these. One second we're talking about honor and social standing within the family, the next we're absolutely belting our lungs out in karaoke. In one scene you're bleeding and crying, and the next you're trying to keep from accidentally asking a woman on the phone if she's actually a man. But somehow these things never took away from the gravity of the story. If anything, it made everyone feel more human. Yakuza just believes in fun, especially in combat. Some of the insane offense you can pull off is hilariously satisfying. Pile drivers, throwing dudes into dudes, stomping items into people. It's all so deliciously extra. I didn't even hate the quick time events. It's not a perfect game, but Yakuza 0 is the perfect way to start the year off. And with that momentum, I try a few other things on my radar. The Dark Queen of Mortholm is a tiny free game where you play as the final boss of the castle instead of the hero. So you'll be tasked with protecting your throne and keeping the plucky hero from saving the dead. Oh, you got him. Cool. Oh, that was easy. But the twist of this game isn't that you play as the villain, it's that like a video game hero, he will always respawn and come try to fight you again, improving every time. How you respond to this will shape the narrative. It's an eloquent commentary on perseverance, the fear of losing what makes you who you are, and being willing to start over even if you truly do lose it all. I can't recommend this one enough. Next, I kind of bounce off of Slitterhead, which has a wildly cool premise. Your spirit leaps from body to body, which creates some fascinating scenarios in combat or in traversal. Like, there's one moment early in the game where you realize that you can just ignore fall damage if it's no longer your body by the time it hits the ground. Gruesome consequences follow your ideas in this game, and it's incredibly unique for it. But story-wise, the game just doesn't really click for me. This is someone's game. I wanted you guys to know about it in case it's yours, but I had enough, so I moved on. And that's okay, by the way. One of the biggest lessons from a few years ago I learned is that you truly don't have to explain yourself if the game isn't for you. You don't owe it or anyone anything. Play it if you like, don't if you don't. Anyway, next it was on to, actually, real quick, one thing I stopped playing this month was Pokemon TCG Pocket. And I didn't really put this on the backlog because, are you kidding me? But I stopped playing because I won. I won Pokemon TCG Pocket. I've peaked. I beat the game. Nothing will top this. Sorry for derailing this video to flex. Next it was on to me side, and right out the gate, you know that this is on some Doki Doki Lit Club bullshit. And I appreciated that the game knew that too. It doesn't waste your time. It dives right into the creepiness. I don't know why I'm doing this accent. I'm gonna stop now. Long story short, you get sucked into a mobile game where your waifu tries to kill you and take your soul. Other versions of her try to help you escape, but can you really trust them? I liked this one. It was spooky in all the right ways, fun in so many others. At times, it felt like a parable on what we expect in a partner and how we often box people into romantic stereotypes. At other times, it tried to illustrate how monotonous life is and really toyed with the fact that you're even interested in a game like this to begin with. There's a lot going on here, but January is a win all around. After knocking down 3 games, one of them being a fan game and also dropping what is probably one of the best videos I'll ever make, I am right on schedule and feeling like this year is going to be a breeze. I wonder if that will continue. As February begins, I find that it's now time to bite the bullet. I've been avoiding Disco Elysium for multiple backlog videos now. Everyone recommends it. I'm told it's some of the best writing in gaming history. I've been told to not take it too seriously and imagine that it is a comedy. In doing so, I'll have an easier time. And that couldn't be more true, because what I think initially turned me off to this when I tried it 2 years ago is that it's just immediate obstacles. You can't remember who you are, can't remember what you're doing, you fail at so many tasks early on, and it's frustrating to play. But treating it like a comedy just unlocks something for me and allows me to play much more patiently. Suddenly the stakes are gone, and every little thing that goes right feels like a massive lead in this investigation. That feeling of being hopelessly unprepared plays gorgeously into the narrative because it allows every success to shine. It allows the tragedy of who you're playing as to feel in harmony with how you yourself are playing the game. It allows Kim Kitsuragi to be one of the best partners I've ever had in a video game ever. Why did I say that twice? I fucking love this man. Seeing your character slowly earn his pity, then his sympathy, then his admiration, and then his trust is extremely rewarding. And this is illustrated beautifully in one late game moment that I won't spoil, but it completely melted my heart. The characters across the board are super complex and endlessly fun to interact with. Revachol itself feels like its own character. The architecture, the people, the sounds, the ocean, everything about it makes it feel incredibly worn, like a town that does in fact have an extensive history. When you weave its mysteries in with the murder you're trying to solve and the past of your character that you're trying to unravel, Disco Elysium becomes this enchanting web that grabs your attention and never lets go. Thank you all so much for making me play, and yeah, this is one that left me thinking, man.
To the freezer.
now that that's done, in the spirit of honesty, I kind of dropped the ball this month. This is the only game I play, and I think it's because I am sick for much of February. I have a get-together with some friends where we play a ton of Commander, which is how I think I got sick, and I do a lot of reading in my free time. Overall, I'm just not in the mood to play much somehow, but that's fine, and I think this February is an important lesson for you if you're trying to develop a schedule to play your backlog just like this, because it truly is a ballpark of time we're after here. There are going to be down months. They should drag down your monthly average. You're trying to capture things as they are, not how you want them to be. This is a mistake I made year one when I thought I was playing all of this in 12 months. You can't just will yourself to have more hours in the day. And no, stop typing that sleep is optional. You need rest, damn you. These are the lessons that I've learned after 3 years of trying this. And in this healthier backlog approach, truly recognize what you can do and work with that. It's about maximizing the space you have, not carving into your well-being to find more. You know, with that said, February is a quiet month, and that is okay. From a numbers standpoint, March is a much more productive month for the backlog as fate would have it, and I'll just show you the number. I played 56 hours in March, a massive rebound from February, the most productive month of the year so far, well above my 41 hours a month average. Here's the problem. 40 of those hours are spent on Monster Hunter Wilds. I have the same relationship with this game that Donkey had with the dragon in Shrek. Fear, followed by reluctance, followed by arousal somehow. For years, I wanted nothing to do with this franchise. I was never a dinosaur or a monster kid. I was a robot and spaceship kid. While you were watching Jurassic Park, I was watching the Mask of Light Bionicle movie. But sure enough, when I finally let the homies talk me into playing, I have a great time. My initial gripe is that I go into this thinking Dark Souls combat. So when right in the middle of a fight, the monster just... Did he just bounce? I had to reshape how I conceptualize things. Mounting monsters is exhilarating. Getting the cinematic blow feels like taking a bite of a birthday cake. Getting bucked off and not getting it hurts like a breakup. All around, I am really impressed with this game. The music, divine. The characters, sensational. The weapons, juicy. The story, the environments, tremendous. The only other thing I want to critique is how hard it is to get plates sometimes because...
That is the lovely but elusive California lionfish.
It's perfect. I must have it.
Sadly, sir, you can't.
What do you mean can't?
It's illegal, sir. This fish is protected by the great state of California.
Give me it.
But otherwise, great game. The next thing that I fall into this month is a visual novel called The House in Fata Morgana. And I won't finish it right now, but after 16 hours, I'm floored. To go into too much detail of how its stories all work together would be spoilery. Just know that it is haunting, it is twisted, it is cruel, it is beautiful. There are Shakespearean levels of tragedy in this, no exaggeration. The finale of the first door will stick with me forever. The writing makes me feel like I'm only using 10% of what the English language is capable of. A line really early on that really sells me is a simple metaphor to describe that someone is nervous. It says, Mel felt as though all the blood in his body had begun to flow backwards. My God, that is so good. Make no mistake, this is hardly a video game. It is a book with a few sound effects, music, and art. It's not voice acted, and while there are a handful of decisions you get to make, they pretty much all lead to a game over, and then you go back and select the right one. Don't expect fourth wall breaking shenanigans or gimmicks, but do expect to be blown away if you play this. And let it cook. It's a little slow. I won't finish this one until next month, but emotionally, it has me by the balls. As the final sunset of March begins to drop, I realized that I didn't do a fan game this month. Technically, I'm behind right now. But as a credit to this new method, I was aware of this. I allowed myself to do it because I knew I could fit 2 fan games in April, and that's exactly what I do. First, I return here. The Outer Wilds Echoes of the IDLC does something that I did not expect. It feels like a horror game, but not in the conventional sense. Let me explain. I arrive in this abandoned ring city that plays like a giant moving puzzle. This megastructure, the Stranger, is one of the most masterfully crafted dungeons I think I've ever played. And in it, I discover clues, ancient technology, slideshows that document the past, and little details that suggest I may not be alone here. And with each new clue, my skin crawls a little more. Each discovery is in equal parts fascinating and terrifying until I stumble upon a twist that makes my heart race in horror right before breaking it in two. I don't want to say much more, but truly, this DLC is uncanny and existential and tragic. It's like a nightmare that doesn't startle you out of it, but instead makes you sit quietly with the unease and the dread. An incredible little story. It is a man game despite just being a DLC. Although its 10-hour DLC length does play favorably into the schedule because now I have time for a larger endeavor, and so I suddenly find myself wandering the streets of Night City. In case you missed the memo and only know Cyberpunk 2077 for the abysmal launch that can only be topped in terrible performance by the 2025 Cowboys defense, they fixed this game. As of 2023, Cyberpunk is good now, and I mean really good. Before it was voted in, I did not want to play this. I couldn't get into The Witcher. CD Projekt Red had no effect on me, but Cyberpunk grabbed me by the face and threw me into a sprawling city with intertwining storylines, tragic characters, multifaceted combat, and a lot of refusal to use subject pronouns.
Trust him like my own brother. Seemed in a hurry to delta the hell out of there.
Gotta create your sensory profile first.
Finally, something that isn't a complete snore fest. Could binge watch this all day if I had some popcorn.
Why can't you people say I? Brace yourselves for this, but I've never played Grand Theft Auto. This is my first time playing an open city game. I've seen mountains and plains. I've never been lost in a forest of neon and steel before, and my goodness, I love being lost here. There are times I choose to fast travel or use a vehicle to speed the game along, but many times I can't help but decide to just walk and take in the absolutely staggering scale of this city. Looking up at the skyscrapers and feeling like I'm walking through a real, living, breathing...
That's going to be it for the stream. Good luck, fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.